going to give us a poem, and then she is going to introduce PowerMonday. Dr. Lucita.
Thank you, Lady Noel. Good morning, everyone. I hope we are doing fantastic, and I hope I'm audible enough. Oh, nice.
Yes,
it's a beautiful Monday morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and as PowerMonday, we are the powerhouse. We demystify the fact that Mondays are boring days. Today being Monday 23 of 52, we thank God for such a beautiful morning. We meet every single Monday to 8:15, except when it is as it was last Monday. Not only do we meet virtually, but we meet physically as what we term as meet and greet. And oh my, the last meet and greet is culminated with a dinner. And this year, we are reviving the vibe. We also have a CSR activity, which is visiting the children's home. And I hope you didn't miss. And if you are not in the group, please kindly join to see all the itineraries. We discuss diverse topics, and as I always say, you could make your first million, meet your employer or your employee here. And the sessions are absolutely free. Thank you very much. So today I want to do a poem titled Beyond. I love stories. One time, a friend of mine wrote a letter, an official letter to a certain individual. It was dispatched out. As it reached the owner said that is not me, address me properly. And what my friend had missed was the title doctor. And we said, see, we are sorry. So beyond everything, what are we? Beyond the titles, I delve into it directly. Beyond the careers that we highly esteem, behind the polished titles, the introductions that sound like achievements, the applauses that follow what you do, then there is you. Not the resumes that we tend to have, not the milestones that stacked like proof, not the visions that the world has learned to celebrate of you, but the quiet stillness and announced you that exists when no one is watching. Beyond the grind, beyond the early mornings chasing your worth, the late night negotiating rest, the constant becoming, there is the stillness that does not demand you to earn your place. There is you beyond everything else. Because, you are never a project. You are you. Beyond the expectations that are spoken, wrapped in love, wrapped in pressure, the weight that makes us proud every time you want them to tell you, I'm proud of you. Beyond you, there is the gentle you. There is the free you. There is you that asks nothing of you beyond everything else. Beyond the fear of slowing down, of letting go, of being seen without the armor of achievement. There is a softer strength that doesn't need validations to exist. You felt that? Beyond or else. Beyond the noise, beyond the comparisons, beyond the timelines, the silent race no one admits they are running. There is your own rhythm, there is your word, the steady you, the sacred you, the uncompeting you. Beyond everything else is you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Lucita. Beyond the title doctor, who are you? Beyond this beautiful girl, who are you? Beyond your name, who are you? Who is that person? Who is that person? So thank you so much, Dr. Lucita. And I think it's a good point for us to be just to meditate on it during the week and ask yourself, beyond this person, who am I? Okay, so I call upon Cynthia Wanyonyi, who is going to introduce the guest speaker of the day. Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Lady Noel, and thank you, Dr. Lucita, for that poem. It's quite something to ponder. Well, my duty today or this morning is just to introduce the speaker of the day. She is the founder and team leader of Heartwork Africa, and this is a platform dedicated to creating safe spaces for healing, clarity, courage, and authentic living. She is a grief therapist, an authenticity coach, a pastor, and a speaker whose work focuses on emotional well-being, faith, identity, and resilience. Through her ministry and professional work, she supports individuals, families, leaders, and communities as they navigate loss, transition, and life's many challenges. She's very passionate about helping people understand their stories, build emotional resilience, and live with greater wholeness and purpose. Today, she brings her wealth of experience and compassionate perspective to the important conversation on men's mental health and encouraging us to view self-care not just as a weakness, as most of us are used to viewing it, but as wisdom and responsible stewardship of our well-being. Please join me in warmly welcoming Madam Mueni Wambua. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I must honor the leadership of PowerMonday. I think it's also a group that, first of all, it is a step of faith for you to invite a pastor to speak on Monday morning. Why I say that it's a step of faith is because Monday is usually pastor's day off. So it's like inviting you to speak on maybe a Sunday morning or a Friday morning. Sunday morning, most of you go to church. A Friday morning after a busy week, inviting you to speak on a Friday morning. So it's a step of faith, but I say that on a light note. So thank you for the invitation to speak to this morning. And I want to honor all the men in the room. The reason why I want to honor all the men in the room is because June is Men's Mental Health Month. Now, that's not simply something that we are just throwing out there so that we can tick a box, but I want us to be intentional about the present men in the room. And so we want them to step into this room as a place where they will be seen, as a place where their presence is appreciated. And, sometimes when we talk about men, unfortunately, many of our conversations that I hear, and this is not because we don't like you, but this is simply because we see the gap. And sometimes, there's an African saying that says, when a head is too big, it will always be hit. But it's the reason why is because we see the gap, and then unfortunately, the men that are behaving badly are very loud. But I also know that there are men that are quietly doing the work, putting in the work, and because they are not loud about it, it is very easy to miss them. But those are the men that have shown up this morning. And why I say that is because to show up for a meeting on Monday morning to discuss men's mental health is a statement of commitment and is a statement of intent. So I honor the men that have shown up this morning. And I know the ladies are thinking, are you saying that we are not invited? No, you're also welcome, because guess what? There are men in your lives. They are either your fathers, they're your brothers, they're your sons, they're your colleagues, they're your employees, they're your employers. And so community is to be able to have both healthy men and healthy women. So to have healthy men in the room, they need to have women who support them. And I like the poem by Dr. Lucita, which says, I like the last line where she says, before everything else, I am. And so I want men to hold on to that truth. Paul, could you please allow me hosting rights? Because I would like to share my screen.
You have the hosting right
I
already.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And so today we're talking about the war within, and we're talking about the pressure that men carry. And so allow me to start by saying, think about a man you know. He might be sitting next to you right now. He might be the reason you came today. It might be yourself. You get up every morning, you put on something, and we're not just talking clothes here. You put on capacity, you put on capability, you put on composure, you put on competence. And then you walk into the day carrying things you have never named, past people who never ask you what you're carrying, and you're walking towards a version of yourself that you're not sure you can reach, a version that is an ideal that was given to you by society, an ideal that was given to you by culture, an ideal that was given to you by religion, and sometimes even an ideal that was given to you by the name that you carry. You know, you're called son of so and so, so you cannot afford to be weak. And so you wake up and you do this quietly. You wake up and you do this faithfully. You wake up and you do this daily. And you never say a word about what this costs you. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that cost. We're not dismantling men. We're not even pathologizing strength. We don't want to turn a conversation about mental health into something that makes men feel like they are a problem that need to be sorted. We're here because something is happening beneath the surface of men's lives, in our homes, in our churches, in our workplaces, in our communities. And either we are too polite, we are too busy, or we are too uncomfortable to call it out or to name it. And so today we're going to call it out. We're going to actually call it out. And that's why I said, I realize that we are a mixed room because this conversation belongs to all of us. Maybe you're here out of curiosity. Maybe you're here out of duty. And perhaps quietly out of something a bit more personal. Something that you don't have the words for it yet. Either way, you're welcome. All of you, including the parts that you haven't introduced to us, because all we see is your name, or maybe just a title. But we're welcoming all parts of you, the parts that are visible, the parts that are hidden, the parts that we don't talk about. Maybe you came because you're a woman and you have a man around you that is struggling. You have a man that you love, that you don't know how to reach. Some of you are leaders, your pastors, your employers, your managers, your coaches. But you're here because you know that there's a man under your care that's not always okay. This is not a conversation about men. This is a conversation for men and everyone that shares a life with them. So welcome to the room. I want us to talk about some of the pressure men carry. And I want to ask you to indulge me. Write in the chat box the pressures that men carry. And we'll look at those as we go on. These are pressures that have nowhere to go. And so men don't struggle because they feel less than women. And by feel here, I'm talking about feelings. I'm not talking about general, they've been less than, but I'm talking about feel here is a verb. They struggle because they have often learned that they have to feel in private, in safety, and without consequence. If they feel at all in front of others. So we raise men to be carrying pressure. And I wonder, do we have any responses on the chat box? Paul, if we do, just go ahead and let me know. Go ahead.
They are yet to start coming. I hope coming now, probably. Yes, pressure to provide. That's number one. Family obligations. Identity. So there is identity there. That's the one. Then there is pressure to succeed from Joseph. Identity from Michael. Shiro says family obligations. Wycliffe says pressure to provide. Liz says esteem issues. Raising up children in terms moral. Those are some of the responses that have come.
Okay.
Pressure to be strong. That is from Muridi.
Whatever strong means, because I'm assuming here it's not strong of muscles.
You need to show yourself
It's
strong.
not strong over Tinimenda gym. I'm strong now. I'm a strong man because I go to the gym daily.
Gideon says dealing with everybody's problem. Another one from Willis, parenting. And then pressure to lead, give direction with uncertainties. That's from Bernard. Feeling abandoned, lack of empowerment from June. Siblings, rivalry, being man enough. Yeah, can move on.
Okay. And I think the list can go on. Paul, keep updated with what the list looks like. But I summarize the pressures for men into 3. 1, provider. You must not lack. You must not fail. And you must not need. Now, this is provide everything and anything that is required. Whether it is financial, whether it is material, whether it is wisdom, whether it is emotional, whether it is spiritual, whatever it is, you must provide it because we all look up to you. And you must not fail in your provision of it. And, like if it's something like wisdom, once you provide it, I must not fail with the wisdom that you have given me. Yeah? And you must not need. Okay. Protector. You must be unshakable. Fear is not an option. So even if someone knocks the door at 2 a.m., who opens the door? Even if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, you're looking at the man to protect you. Even when the men that have broken into the house have guns and your man has none. Even when you're carjacked, even when you're being robbed in the streets of Nairobi or any other city for that matter, you want the man to stand between you and the attacker. And it gets worse because we want the man to protect us even against those things that attack us that are not visible. So if your child has cancer, he should protect his child. If your child has mental health issues, you should protect them. If your wife is going through depression, you should protect her. Fear is not an option. You must be unshakable. You are her tower or pillar of strength. That's what we call them. You're the pillar of strength. You're unshakable and you're unshaken by any shaking that comes your way. Number 3, performer. You must be strong, you must be capable, and you must be enough. Always enough. Anything less than enough is unacceptable. And you must be a performer everywhere, every time, in always, always. I mean, can you already just feel the pressure? Because these three are things that are heavy. And these things are, by the way, but these are not evil expectations. Let's just be clear. They're not evil expectations. In fact, many of them are rooted in noble values. We think highly of you. Yeah? But then, when this becomes the only script a man is handed, and there is no room for doubt, no room for grief, no room for exhaustion, no room for struggle, these things become a cage. And the man has nowhere to go to. Many men are struggling, not because they are weak, but because they have been strong for too long without permission to pause. So allow me to give you a little story about a man who I know. He has a thriving business. He looks good. He's well dressed. He's well groomed. He's well presented. Everything on the outside, this man is good. He even smells good, yeah? But his eyes carried a different kind of tired. Not the kind that needed sleep, but the kind that needs peace. And you know, that's the thing about eyes. Eyes don't lie. Eyes don't lie. But what have we taught our men? To chase the shiny toys of success. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Nairobi of success in Kenya today. 1 wife, 2 children, three cars, 1 for the wife, 1 for the man, and 1 for the children. 4-bedroomed house minimum, 5-star holidays, and 6-figure paycheck. 1 wife, 2 children, 3 cars, 4-bedroom house minimum, 5-star holidays, 5-star lifestyle, and 6-figure salary minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 success in Kenya today. So when a man has those, when a man has the 3 cars and the house and all those things, and I call those the shiny toys of success, we think he's got it all together. So we look at him and think, when I grow up, I want to be like him. But we have seen it in the news. We have seen it we've read about it in the newspapers, that there are men that we have seen with all these things, but they're dying on the inside. And some of them are dying literally. We have seen an increase in the men who carry and look successful, but they're dying by suicide. So there must be something wrong with our matrix. There must be something wrong with that matrix, because we need to understand that proof of output is not proof of peace. Just because he's able to get the shiny toys does not mean he is okay. Those shiny toys are not evidence or confirmation that everything on the inside is shiny. In fact, maybe those shiny toys are him trying to convince himself that everything is okay. So what have we done over the years? We spent years asking men to open up. But we have not always made sure that it is safe for them to do so. Men are not struggling to feel. They're struggling to feel without consequence. Because what are the consequences when men feel? We have raised men in an architecture of suppression. A boy falls and we say, don't cry, you're not a girl. A boy is afraid and we say, man up. A boy is sad and we say, don't be so sensitive, you're not a girl. By adulthood, suppression is no longer simply a choice. It becomes a reflex. a survival strategy so practiced, it becomes impossible. It becomes your default. It becomes impossible because allowing yourself to feel feels dangerous. Allowing yourself to feel is considered weak. Allowing yourself to feel is not allowed. It has consequences. And the consequences range from being called names, being rejected, being mocked, and being teased. And so a man learns emotions are not wrong, but they're inconvenient. They are unwelcome. They are a sign of something that is less than masculine. Ladies in the room, men are not hiding their feelings from you. They're actually hiding them from themselves because they have learned early that feelings are not safe to keep. And so where does that pressure go? Here is the thing about emotions. Emotions are not self-creating, and so emotions are not self-dissolving. When emotions have nowhere to go, they don't disappear. They transform. They show up in ways that we misread, sometimes in ways that we punish, and either way, they show up and we are never asking what is underneath. Because the pressure shows up in different ways. Number one, pressure shows up as anger. This is the only emotion men are allowed to express because it looks powerful. When a man walks into the room and he's angry, don't ask him questions. Amekasirika. He's annoyed. He's got this face that says, don't ask me questions. Now, anger is what we call a secondary emotion because beneath anger, there is hidden emotions. And the reason why anger becomes a secondary emotion is because anger camouflages emotions that we consider, quote unquote, weaker. And by weaker emotions, yeah, I'm using that term very loosely. By weaker emotions here, we're talking about emotions that make men feel vulnerable. So he'd rather not show you that he's afraid. He'd rather not show you that he's confused. He'd rather not show you that he's overwhelmed, because if I'm looking up to you as the man of the house, as the leader of the family, as the leader of the company, as the leader of the community, as the leader of the country, and then you sit down and you hold your head up like this and you start crying, wait, what are the rest of us supposed to do? So at least when you show up, you're angry, we will be afraid of even asking you questions. And so you'll get time to be away by yourself because we are afraid of you. Another emotion that another way pressure shows up is withdrawal. They're present, but they're not there. They're functioning from behind glass. I don't know whether you've gone to, when growing up, there's a shop that we used to shop in Ngara, and they always used to have a nice, beautiful cat that was on the display. And they had to write, "Their cat is not for sale," because the natural thing as children, when we would see that cat, we would want to touch it. But you see, the glass is there, it is very clean, and it is very clear. So you want to touch the cat, but you can't touch it. And that's what happens with men. They put on, I call it screensaver. They put on a screensaver face. Just, you can't reach me. This is the face that is acceptable. This is the facade that you want to see. This is the facade that is expected of me. And so they put it on. They will pay bills. They will attend meetings. They will even say the politically correct thing. They will stand up in church and they will lead the development committee. But guess what? They are functioning. But if you look in their eyes, there is nobody home. They've moved out. Number 3 is numbing. And numbing has become so entrenched in our community today. There's overwork, and men are praised for that. Oh, unajua yuko kazini. He works for too long. In fact, we have made people who work for long hours, we praise them. We call them heroes. Oh, him, he works 24/7. He's always at work. And nothing has made overwork better than screens. So you could be on your laptop, you could be even watching a movie, you could be playing a game, but because you're on your screen, we don't know. And you're just scrolling, zombieing away. Yeah. And then substances. Substances today are not the only addictions that men have. We also have behavior. So you have behavior including gaming and video games. And so guys zone out and they are playing video games and they are doing this until wee hours of the night. Escapism, boys' weekend, boys' night out. We are doing all these things that we are supposed to escape from our daily life because we've created a life where we must escape from every so often. So we are doing a boys' trip. Sexual numbing. Unfortunately, we see a lot of promiscuity among men. And sometimes it's considered a normal man thing. But guess what? He's looking for a high. And he's hoping that he will get it. He didn't get it with this woman, so he said, I'll try it with this woman. I didn't get with that one because she was skinny. I'll try it with this one because she's a bit big. I'll try with that one because she has, and they are constantly trying and looking. And nothing is happening. Because unfortunately, and this relationship, these sexual encounters are actually largely empty. Why? Because imagine this woman, you're using her as Panadol. You're hoping that she'll be the one that will sort out the pain that you're feeling, or even the pain that you're carrying. But it's not working. And then spiritual bypass, where I cannot speak enough about spiritual bypass. And I say this as a pastor. Oh, we stand behind those things and we say we have learned the lingua of church. I am too blessed to be stressed. Oh, we know all those things, nice sounding things we say in church. Oh, yeah. Spiritual bypassing. We are not naming things that are to be named. But guess what? Our bodies are the wisest part of us. And so guess what? The body keeps score. The body keeps the score. Let me tell you, you can lie to everybody else, but your body will always tell you that, we are not doing well. Stress, sleeplessness, headaches, blood pressure, tight chest, exhaustion. Let me tell you, currently, there's an organization I consult for. The average age of their employees is 35 years. Okay, average age. Of course, both men and women, 35 years. But when you look at their chronic diseases, it is scary. It is scary. Why? Because guess what? The diseases that are showing up for men who are age 35 and below are pointers of high stress levels. Doctors are now starting to tell us that what we call non-communicable diseases, or in other words, what we call lifestyle diseases, are actually 70 to 85% connected to your emotional well-being. And what are those NCDs? High blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, what else? Ulcers, IBS. We are seeing a lot of autoimmune diseases. We are beginning to see a lot of dementia. All these things are rooted in unprocessed emotions. The body is not lying. The body is speaking. And sometimes it is saying things men have not found words for. We are living in a time when we are seeing a lot of men just collapsing and dying. And it's just not making sense because we're talking about young men 40 years and below. I'll even go to somewhere a bit more sensitive, but allow me permission to go here. We're seeing men 40 years and below with erectile dysfunction. Why? Because their stress levels are so high. And so what are they doing? They're popping blue pills and then they're dying on the job, if you know what I'm saying. And so men are dying from wounds that were never tended. You know, that man, that boy you told don't cry, that man you told man up, that man you told don't be so sensitive. Well, that wound was never tended to, but that wound didn't go away. That wound has festered. They're not dying because they were too weak to survive. They're dying because no one ever helped them name what was wrong or showed them that asking for help was not the end of their dignity. It was the beginning of their survival and the runway to thriving. And so what are we saying? We're saying strength was never meant to mean the absence of need, silence in suffering, or endurance without wisdom. Real strength is the courage to face struggle honestly and seek what is needed to move through it. Now, guys, I'm not naive here, and I'm not offering a pie in the sky. Healing is not always simple. We must unpack it. We must confront it. We must sit down with the discomfort of it all and have very uncomfortable conversations. But it is possible. It is possible to have uncomfortable conversations. It's possible to unpack. It's possible to sit down and face it, because only that which you face, only that which you confront, can you change. And the fact that it is possible, imagine that's enough to start. That's it. Because men need our support. And if we don't support them, as those of us that are in the room today, we will lose them. We are losing them. It is urgent, people. And so what are the practical things we can walk away with this morning? Number one, name it. Move from I am fine to an honest inventory of what is heavy. Man, my business is struggling. Man, my marriage is falling apart. Man, the kids are struggling with this, that, or the other. Name it. Name it. In fact, I am so convinced about the power of naming, because the Bible says everything that has a name shall bow down at the name of Jesus. If you name it, then you can bring it to Jesus and it shall bow down. But how are you going to bring it to Jesus if you're not even naming what you're struggling with? I am so convinced about the power of naming. Number two, witnessed grief. Now, what we mean by witnessed grief is, you know what? Sometimes we tend to think that, why am I naming it if nobody can solve it? Nobody is going to do anything about it. What can you change it? So why am I telling another man that my problem is my wife? What is this another man going to do? But guess what? You know that old saying of a problem share is a problem half solved. You need someone who stays. Not with an agenda, not with a timeline, and not with a quick fix. Just someone that witnesses your grief, someone that understands your grief, someone that just sits with you and says, wow, that is heavy. I feel you. I see you. I hear you. That's it. And that grief, that weight, will have been given a place to breathe and ease the pressure that the man is carrying. Number three, brotherhood. Create a community that goes beneath banter and performance. Now, this is where us women don't understand how guys can. They meet every day, they talk, they discuss politics, they discuss business, they discuss this and the other, but they are not going beneath that. they're not going beneath that. They will be shocked like, oh, Ati, he's struggling with an addiction, but he looks okay. Oh, he has been jobless, but we meet every morning and it looks like he's going somewhere. His business shut down, but we talked and he told me he's okay. Sorry about that. Brotherhood needs to become less performative and more present and more intentional. And that also calls for us because guess what? These men are our brothers. So we need to move and do better as a people. And finally, professional care. Get help. Get help. To see a therapist is not a statement of weakness. To see a therapist is not, it does not mean that you are a lost cause. We also need to look at the faith that we hold on to. Our faith, our churches, our homes of faith, whether they are mosques, whether they are churches, whether they are synagogues. We need places of faith that hold the whole man, not just his wallet for development purposes or for giving purposes. The whole man. Is he healthy financially? Is he healthy relationship-wise? Is he healthy physically? Is his health scrambling? Is he healthy socially? Is he healthy with his family relationships? Is he healthy in his career development? Is he healthy in all spheres? We need a faith that holds the whole man, not just parts of him. Not just the parts of him that we consider useful, but the whole man. Because when a man is whole, then the society begins to heal. And so what can we do? What can we do? It's very easy for us to keep complaining, but we must begin to do things practically. To the men, please admit what is heavy. And I challenge you this morning, take a piece of paper and write down what is heavy. What is heavy that you're carrying? You don't even have to share it with anyone. Just write it for yourself. To those who love men, and I'm talking about the women in the room, their mothers, their sisters, their colleagues, their wives, create safety before you create expectation. So that when a man opens up to you and said, hey, this is heavy, sit with it. Don't judge him. Don't question him. Receive it, hold it, hear it, see it. To the leaders, employers, pastors, families, make room for men to be human without penalty. So if you run an organization and a man says, boss, I'm overwhelmed. We've had, you've had a busy month. We've done our beautiful presentation. We've delivered the numbers. Can I please take a mental health day? Allow men to be healthy. And men, when you take that mental health day, that's not the day to go and sort out the building conversation with your fundi. That's not the day to go and deal with Kenya Power issues that you've not been able to deal with. Take time to rest. Because when a man heals, it moves into his marriage, it moves into his parenting, it moves in his leadership, it moves in friendships, and it moves in the next generation, the children that you're raising. And I promise you, in fact, last year during the June month, I sat with a client, and he was a man, and I told him, he asked me what my rate is, and I told him my rate is this much. But for June, every year in June, I give a 50% discount for men. The man sat in my therapy room and he cried. You know why he cried? He says it's the first time he has ever heard of affirmative action for men. And by the way, he works in the NGO space. They're always doing affirmative action for women. But I'll tell you why I do this. Because when one man heals, truth is, men sit in more places of power than women. So imagine when a man is healed and is leading a church, that church becomes emotionally healthy. When a man is healed and is leading an organization, that organization has better policies. It has better structure. If a man is healed and is leading the nation, that nation will have people that are feeling seen, that are heard, that are acknowledged, and their cries are falling in the ears of someone who is hearing them. So healing is not just about one man. Healing causes ripples, and ripples that we all feel. Right range of schools, and we're talking about banning of schools, and we're talking about children, and we're talking about parenting, and we're talking about all these things. But guess what? It's not a conversation that should be limited to. And it's a conversation that it would do us all good for a community if that conversation is spearheaded by men. Because guess what? Whether we acknowledge our society, we live in a society that men sit in positions of leadership, tune with the whole man.
You're breaking a little.
So,
I think.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Noel,
We actually come to the end. So,
you are breaking a little, but it's okay towards the end. Just towards the end. Thank you
oh,
all.
sorry about that.
Thank you, and thanks for all the comments that are coming in. We will move to that briefly on to that question and answer. Somebody said something very profound, Gideon, that we can only name that which we are allowed to. Don't ask me how I am if you are not prepared to listen to listen to and to understand the truth behind my answer. Yes, maybe you're asking, then it's just another beginning of an argument. Being ready to listen. I don't know what you'd say about that. So it means people should not, you've mentioned it though, people should not just ask for the sake of it. You ask because you really mean it and you want to be part of the conversation. It goes ahead to say therapy begins with us. Women have friends they share mushene with. Men do not. When men open up, it is called umama. Be brave enough to be a umama. Women have something that can be copied. Be man enough to copy and use. What do you say about that?
I think I like the conversation that Gideon is raising, because let me ask you, how many of us in our churches, in many of our churches, we have women's ministry, and men, if you're lucky, your church may even have a men's ministry. But women's ministry even have smaller groups, groups of 5, groups of 10 that now go deeper in their relationship. How many of our men's groups have those groups? Let's go even deeper. Many churches have a widows fellowship. How many churches have a widowers fellowship?
Good. I usually love to say it casually, but it's true that men, more so when you reach 35 onwards, you're in the hands of God. Nobody else thinks about you. The government doesn't, the society doesn't. We think about women, youth, children. Yeah, everything else surrounds them. I think the rest it's meant to take care of. The women, youth, children. Nobody talks about men except Okay. By the way, they don't even know when it is. That's International Father's Day or Men Day. I don't know what it is, but those are some of the realities. But this is a good start. It's a good conversation, and we can proceed with it. Am I audible? I see there is a fluctuation. So, Noel, is Noel here? Okay. Okay. Just to mention that Power Monday has a WhatsApp group which you can join. I shared a link through which you can fill a form. And then we also have a channel. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Noel, go ahead.
Sorry, nowadays I'm always on the move. I'm really, really sorry. So I call upon Maurice, who is going to give us the vote of thanks. Maurice Omolo. I'm sorry, Maurice. We will reconcile after this.
Thank you so much. Actually, I was typing a message to compliment our speaker for today, and you just surprised me with the call. So I just want to use this opportunity to thank you so much for talking about this topic, which is so crucial. It is true. Men don't talk about these things. We talk about big things like when America is to strike Mexico or another part of the world. We also talk about why a particular coach removed a particular player in a game instead of the other one. And it fulfills us to talk these big things. And then yet we miss out the important things which you have talked about today, about really the issues men go through. And what a beautiful way that it has been spoken by a woman. And I'm so happy. And I kind of wish that our wives, our sisters, our mothers were in this call. Aside from, because what you did was like to talk on behalf of the men and for the men and with the men. And this is a conversation that must continue. And personally, I feel that you really talked about some of the things I personally go through. And you created an expression that is being spoken by somebody else who has perhaps experienced it with a man, either in the church or the people we talk to. So quite often men have this general grouping where we talk general things as I've mentioned, but we rarely talk deeply about things that really touch us, you know. And I joined this call while I was still on the outside before I go into the office, and I could just see the people walking along, and I could just imagine what they're going in through. And I was wishing how I wish they were in such a call to hear that whatever you're going through, somebody else has felt it, and there's an opportunity to speak and to speak it out instead of boiling within yourself and releasing it in anger. And that is something which, for a number of us, based on how we are brought up maybe with our authoritarian fathers and mothers, and we try to use it even for this culture or this generation, and it doesn't work. And some of us really get frustrated. So it was a very timely discussion, and I just want to wish all the men in this call and the women who joined that let's work hand in hand. I'm sure as our speaker was speaking to men, some of these topics are also very, very relevant to the women themselves inside there. Because depression and isolation, mental challenges, they face both men and women, but so good that you talked directly to the men today. So I wouldn't want to even attempt to summarize or interpret what you said, that it touched me individually, and also to thank Lady Noel, Paul Peter, as well as our poet. You know, when you say beyond that name, because sometimes we are so preoccupied with titles and not with what we are, like who you are in particular. And I want to use this example. I think I was either reading Otieno Paul Peter's series, the book, the most recent book by Otieno Paul Peter about lazy mask or something like that. And it really touches that. There's some people who are so preoccupied with their titles. You know,
Strong
people are so
fools, lazy
preoccupied with their
smarts.
titles. Yeah, Strong Food, Slave is Smart. I really recommend that book to everyone. You have not read it, please read it. And also similarly, the one by Cynthia. Cynthia, thank you for introducing the speaker. And your books, they are very simple and they talk to this topic which has been mentioned today. I also like to take this chance to thank Falcon. Falcon has been sponsoring a number of these events, and we really thank you for doing that. And for those who have joined us today for the first time, this has been going on for quite a number of years. Personally, it has helped me to keep on reflecting on what I do, how I do it, and to try to be better every day. We'll not be perfect, but also always striving for perfection. So we thank the speakers, the organizers, Falcon, and participants. If we didn't have participants, all this could be now. You imagine if our guest speaker today was speaking and just speaking to the leadership of Live Your Dreams, it would be a waste. But today we've spoken. I saw at one point we are almost 100 and over 120, which is just a manifestation that this is a very relevant topic which needs to be spoken about. So I'm hoping that this was just an ignition. It was just the top of the iceberg of so much that needs to be discussed, which will be discussed later on in the course of the month. And you can also reach out to our speaker privately, maybe to hear some of these rates, because sometimes when you talk of 50% discount, you wouldn't know what it really means. But I think that is sometimes what people fear. Like if I go to a doctor, how much will they charge me if I talk about these things? Will it be 1,000? Will it be 5,000? Will it be 10,000? Will it be 20,000? So you can reassure people that perhaps your consultation is more or less like what other professional doctors charge, so that they don't think that if I'm going to see a counselor, I'll be told to bring a goat or a sheep, so they are afraid to go there. So thank you so much, everyone. May God bless you and have a blessed day and a powerful Monday ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And talking about books, I seem to be having an echo. Yeah, Mueni has authored 2 books. That is, maybe Mueni, you can talk about it. You can talk about them.
Yeah, sure.
Our
Thank
speaker.
you. Thank you, Paul. I have written 2 books. Which I released at the end of last year. The first book is Grief, A Work of Heart, and we generally in this book talk about all griefs. A Work of Heart, we define what grief is and how it affects men in different ways. The second book is also each pass in Psalm 23 has a theme, this as a tool to help us navigate the high seas of life. So both books are available. If you're interested in any of them, please feel free to reach out to me. If you mention that you're reaching out to me from PowerMonday, we'll be able to give you at a discounted rate. The 2 books cost $3,000, but if you reach out to me and tell me you're reaching out, great. Thank you very much. And I know we have a man in the room who has read them and is able to share his experience with them. Mr. Odiambo Lale is in the room. Thank you very much.
And we thank Odiambo Lale for bringing you here. Antonia, are you there? Can close for us, give announcement and close. Antonia?
As Antonio is about to close, can I just say hello? I want to thank my pastor for such a powerful message she's been very candid, and I think we need to take this conversation to the next level. So I would highly recommend that we swallow, we digest, And then we look forward to another session because this one cannot go on that way. Before end of the year, we must call her back because it is straight from the heart. Amen. Thank you,
Okay.
OPP.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
under
you very
a
much.
mango tree in Funyula.
Yeah. Let's move towards the end. Thank you very much, Biambulale. Antonia. Antonia. Okay. Yes, come on.
Yes. So, PowerMonday people, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm grateful to be here this morning, and thank you all for taking time to join the session. It's a beautiful morning. I only have 2 announcements to make, and thank you, Pastor, for such a great insight and also giving the topic a great justice. We're looking forward to the recording and forwarding it to as many men as possible and also women. One of the announcements that I have is just to thank everyone who joined us on Saturday to visit the children's home at Amani Children's Home in Riruta. It was a success, and this was made possible because of your support, both in giving and in prayers, and also your presence. But unfortunately, we did not manage to get to our target. As you all know, we've made this to be a norm. We do this every 2 times a year, that is in June and in December. And because they know that we are going, they normally give us a budget. That's why when we were doing the contributions, we had something like anything from 30,000, but we did not manage to get to that. And we stretched a little bit above what we had given. And that means there is still room for everyone to give. If you still want to give, here we are joined more than 100 people. If we could only give as little as 200 or even 500, we would have managed the budget. Imagine it not managed to buy the kids sanitary pads, and we have more girls than boys in that school. So if you can just give what you have, the room is still open, so that we can manage to get to our target. We were targeting at least 30,000, but we only managed what you saw on the group because I shared the receipts. And we can still do it for them and deliver and give you updates on the same. So asanteni sana for your continued support. The other announcement is the upcoming PowerMonday dinner. We are getting registration, and this is the month that we are supposed to submit our numbers to the host. So let's put our names down so that we can confirm them. Let's have a lovely week ahead and a beautiful Monday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good to note that this month, if you register by end of this month, you save 500 bob. We will be hosted by Sarova Panafric, and that will be on the 30th of October. So let's plan to be there. Otherwise,